What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, in the past couple of days, we've been talking about certain players' training camps, whether that be how Jeff Okudah is doing, whether that be how DeAndre Swift is doing, and then yesterday we obviously did the major takeaways from week 1. And in that video, I mentioned a player that is by all means exceeding the expectations that were set upon him when he was drafted in the 5th round by the Detroit Lions. That guy is, of course, Quintez Cephus, and when you just look at Quintez Cephus, if you look up his name in training camp, if you hear anything out of the Detroit Lions organization about Quintez Cephus so far, all of it has been positive, and it sounds like he is having a phenomenal camp for the Detroit Lions. So today we're going to be going over Quintez Cephus' college career, what he's done in training camp so far, and what he can bring to the Detroit Lions in 2020. So before we do get into the video, though, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying the content, consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel, as it takes only 2 seconds out of your day to make mine, and I'd be very, very appreciative to everybody that chooses to do so. But with that being said, let's get into talking about Quintez Cephus' training camp so far and what he can bring to the Detroit Lions in this 2020 season if he keeps this play up. Now, as I said, Quintez Cephus has been making plays since the day he stepped on the Detroit Lions training field. I mean, whether it be in one-on-ones or 11v11s or anything in between, Quintez Cephus has dominated every single drill, and he has hit the ground running in the NFL. Now, Quintez Cephus has, not only dominated the twos, obviously he's been playing with the twos mostly because our first wide receivers are pretty much set, but I mean, not only has he been dominating our second string cornerbacks, our second string defensive backs, but in 1v1s, he got the best of Jeff Okudah, the 3rd overall pick, a couple different times, and I mean, he's just having a phenomenal training camp. This dude is playing out of his mind so far and is really, in my opinion, the most surprising player to, not only break out, but the most surprising player to be having this type of training camp for the Detroit Lions. Now, Quintez Cephus was a 5th round selection by the Detroit Lions in this past 2020 NFL draft. At the University of Wisconsin, he totaled 59 receptions for 901 yards and 7 touchdowns in his junior season with the Badgers last season, and those are very solid numbers. However, you have to remember the Wisconsin Badgers are a run-first team, as Quintez Cephus' teammate Jonathan Taylor was drafted in the early 2nd round by the Indianapolis Colts to really be the bell cow. I mean, the dude had over 2,000 rushing yards in all 3 seasons of his college career, and I mean, Jonathan Taylor is an animal in his own right, but because Jonathan Taylor was so good, the Wisconsin Badgers were a very run-heavy and run-first team, and that did not leave a lot of opportunities for Quintez Cephus to make plays. However, whenever the Badgers did end up throwing the ball, a lot of the time it went to Quintez Cephus, and Quintez Cephus made the most of his opportunities, as he was by far the most effective Wisconsin Badger through the air. Now, Quintez Cephus, he's not going to be the biggest guy on the roster. He's not going to be the fastest guy. He's not going to be the strongest guy. Quintez Cephus only stands at 6'1", 200 pounds, and ran in the 4.7s at the combine. However, this dude just makes plays. He did that at college, and he's doing that so far in training camp. I mean, you're not going to look at Quintez Cephus' film and say, dude, that guy's a burner. That guy's going to out-jump you every time. That guy is going to, run the best routes. That guy's going to catch everything. He's got glue for hands. Like, you're not going to look at his tape and say that, but when you need Quintez Cephus, when you need somebody to make a play, and you give a Quintez Cephus the shot to make that play, 9 times out of 10, he's going to do it. I mean, this guy defies all the odds. He's not the biggest. He's not the strongest. He's not the fastest, but for some reason, one way or another, this dude just makes plays when it counts the most. And I mean, so far in training camp, he is absolutely doing that, and he's showing the coaches that he was a phenomenal draft pick. He looks like the steal of the draft so far by the Detroit Lions, and he is by all means exceeding the expectations that the fans and the coaching staff put on Quintez Cephus when he was drafted out of Wisconsin. Now, obviously, the big knock on Quintez Cephus right now is that, it's great that he's playing well, it's great that he's making plays, but he's primarily playing against the 2nd string defensive backs. He's primarily playing against the 3rd string defensive backs, and, he's not playing against the Desmond Trufants. He's not playing against the Jeff Okudahs, right? You wouldn't think that because Quintez Cephus has been primarily playing with the 2nd string DBs and the second string teams as a whole. However, just because he's playing against the 2nd string defensive backs doesn't mean it's not a challenge. These guys are all NFL players, and even though that they are the 2nd string defense, the 2nd string defensive backs are amazing. If you put Amani or if you put Desmond Trufant, Jeff Okudah, and Justin Coleman as those top 3, that means that Quintez Cephus is going against Amani Oruwariye, who has had plenty of reps with the ones. He's going against Darrell Roberts, who was a starting quarterback for the Jets last season. And I mean, it's not like our second string defensive backs are chumps. It's not like it's me out there covering Quintez Cephus. These guys are legitimate NFL players, and these defensive backs are going to get legitimate playing time, especially Amani Oruwariye, who, was playing with the twos with Quintez Cephus at points, and Quintez Cephus was still beating up on Amani Oruwariye. He was still beating up on Darrell Roberts, who are going to play in the NFL. They are going to play for the Detroit Lions this season. Amani might start week 1 for the Detroit Lions, and Quintez Cephus was still beating up on him. I mean, you could say that he's not playing against the greatest competition, but he is. I mean, he's playing against guys that are going to start in the NFL. He's playing against, the defensive backs that have started games in the NFL and been very successful. And not to mention that, just because he's playing against the second string defense doesn't mean he's playing with Matthew Stafford. He's playing with David Blau and Chase Daniels, who are nowhere near Stafford's caliber. And they're not gonna make the pinpoint throws that Stafford's gonna make. They're gonna have a lot of errant throws. They're gonna have a lot of overthrows, a lot of underthrows. Not every target that Quintez Cephus is getting in training camp is going to be the perfect ball placed to him. A lot of them are going to be misplaced, in fact, because he is being thrown to by a backup quarterback, and he's still making plays. He is still shining in training camp, and he is still, by all means, being probably the most surprising wide receiver to see out of this Detroit Lions camp so far. Now, everything that has come out of the Detroit Lions training camp about Quintez Cephus has been positive, whether it be his route running, his attitude, his physicality, just the fact that he catches pretty much every ball that is thrown him in 1v1s and 11 on 11s. I mean, this dude just makes plays, and he right now knows that he needs to make plays because he's a 5th-round rookie, and he's part of the most stacked, or one of the most stacked wide receiving cores in the NFL. He knows he needs to make plays and stand out, and so far that is exactly what he has been doing. Quintez Cephus, I was a huge fan of Quintez Cephus coming out of the draft. I've mentioned multiple times I had us taking him in the mock draft. I was super hyped. I'm super high on Quintez Cephus. I was high on him the moment we put in the pick. I mean, I was super high on Quintez Cephus, and I expected him to have a role and be really good for the Detroit Lions in the future. But even I, one of the most optimistic Quintez Cephus fans, was not prepared for Quintez Cephus to play this well, and especially not play this well as soon as week 1 of training camp. I mean, I was super high on Quintez Cephus, but even I admitted that he had his flaws. Even I admitted that he probably wasn't going to get a lot of playing time. He probably wasn't going to, start over any of the big 3 we have right now in Amendola, Galladay, or Marvin Jones. And I don't necessarily think he's going to start over those guys, but if Quintez Cephus continues to play at the rate he's playing, if he continues to make plays, if he continues to dominate the second team, and he continues to play at the standard that Quintez Cephus has set for himself so far, and he continues to play at that level, Darrell Bevell and the offense are going to have no choice but to give Quintez Cephus the ball. They're going to have no choice but to give him snaps, if not start him outright. And I don't think anybody saw that coming into the season. I don't even think Quintez Cephus expected this out of himself coming into the Detroit Lions training camp for this 2020 season. I mean, this guy he's outperformed every standard set upon him. I mean, this dude was given a goal, and he absolutely exceeded it by a mile. I mean, he's playing so well. He is playing, probably the best football that he has played in his career. And it's at the perfect time because he's trying to develop a spot. He is trying to get a role on this Detroit Lions offense. And if he continues to play at the level he's playing, if he continues to make the plays, if he continues to get open and, adjust and win really, really good contested catches like we saw the other day, if he continues to get open and make all the catches thrown his way, the Detroit Lions offense is going to have no choice but to put Quintez Cephus on the field when the games count. They're going to have no choice but to give Quintez Cephus the ball, and if he's playing at the level that he's playing right now in training camp, the Detroit Lions offense is going to look so much better because they got a 5th-round steal in Quintez Cephus out of the University of Wisconsin. Now, with that being said, that is all I got for you guys right now. I mean, I just had to make a video on Quintez Cephus because we've talked about the early round guys. We expect those guys to perform, but I know a lot of people that didn't even, they don't expect a whole lot out of Quintez Cephus. They're not expecting him to be a huge part of the offense. They might not even expect him to make the team. And I've been telling everybody since day one, this dude's going to be a baller. This dude's going to come in and work his butt off, and so far that's what he's been doing. And he's been impressing the coaching staff. He's been impressing the media, and he's been impressing the fans in training camp. He's just done everything that has been asked of him and so much more. And at this point, he looks like the top competitor for that number 4 wide receiver spot. And we know the Detroit Lions like to spread people out. So even if you're the 4th wide receiver, you're still going to get quite a bit of playing time. You're still going to get quite a bit of action. And I really believe Quintez Cephus is the leader for that spot right now. With that being said, though, what do you guys think about Quintez Cephus? Do you think he could continue his his fantastic pace that he's set in training camp so far? Do you think he's going to fall off a little bit in the coming weeks, or do you think he's going to even improve further? Let me know that down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about Quintez Cephus so far in training camp. But with that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. I will be back later with more Detroit Lions content, hopefully. But until then, that is all I got for you guys right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the content and have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. I will see all of you later with more Detroit Lions content. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.